Today we're going to be changing the rear brake shoes on this Talbot Express. Now I have got a little bit of an advantage in that I've got the shoes ready and I've done the brake shoes on the other side. So these are a 12mm spanner required for these. Just break them loose and remove them, and then hopefully with a few little taps I'm going to be getting the drum off. And that's nice and free. So that's the drum off. Now I'm going to use the same hammer and just tap there. Just move the shoes up and down a few times and it'll give everything a good clean off, getting rid of a lot of the rust and brake dust. Keep doing that till everything's nice and free and easy. The first thing to do is to check the compatibility of the brake shoes you've purchased. You can see the hole pattern there. We've got 3 holes on the one what's currently on the right hand side, and that correlates just there. And then the left hand side, you just need to check the hole patterns are the same. Just flip that one over and that's how it's going to go. So we've got 3 holes there, and there's a roll pin there, and we've got a roll pin to correspond. So I'm quite happy with that, so we may as well proceed to removal. Get some pliers, and what we need to do, we need to push this spring in whilst twisting. And you can see there's a little keyway. When we get it right, the whole thing should just launch off like so. So I'll just remove this pin that's holding everything together and do the same this side. It's like a combination of pushing and twisting. Probably be easier if I use my other hand to get around there and keep the head of the pin steady. Yeah, that made a world of difference. It is a two-handed job really. So in my case, these are just coming clean off and they're just located in the base there. So we just need to wiggle them out the base. So that's one side wiggled out, and 2. So we've got the whole assembly trying to escape. Now there isn't room for the whole assembly to go over the hub, so we're just going to disconnect this spring here, like so. And then the next problem we've got, not that it's a major one, is the handbrake there. That should just wiggle out. See that spring there? When you get the handbrake out, that stretches. So you can just work that out the hole. It should just go. I'll get some pliers on it. So everything's free now. So now's a good time to observe. Probably paid to take a picture at the beginning before you get to this stage, but there's only that adjuster what just needs to go up and tuck in, so we can copy everything over onto the new set of shoes. So now's a good time to make sure that this self adjuster is nice and free, and I'm just going to wind it into its lowest setting just to ease putting this together. So now everything's together, I'm just going to put this adjuster arm, just sit it on top of the spring, and what I want to do is just wind this up to splay the shoes and stretch this spring, because this spring you're not going to fit this. So just keep winding that, and I want to go as far as the adjusters will tolerate. So we've opened that out a good amount, and the idea being you get that gap there equal or nearly to the wheel cylinder, and we can just open them and shut them a little by levering them in and out. That'll help us. So what we need to do now is just check the wheel cylinder isn't seized, and it's moving both ways, so that's great news. And it's now time for a clean up. So you can either get your trusty wire brush, clean these bits here. These are the areas we're wanting to clean. That's where the shoes connect with. Give them all a good clean, and try and get the brush in the gap there either side. I actually like to speed things up by using a twisted knot wheel on an angle grinder, so I'll just clean everything up. So that's all them areas cleaned, and that is why I prefer the twisted knot wire wheel. I've also give this backing plate a good clean over. You've just got to be really careful around these rubber bits of the wheel cylinder, not to, well, if you touch them there won't be much left of them, not to damage them. So we've got the brake drum here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the twisted knot wire wheel in there, pass it up and down, round, go all the way around so it's nice and clean. It isn't too bad, as you can see. I'm also going to clean in this groove here, in this lip, as you get rust forming off, and it can just rub on the backing plate if it gets too thick. We just want to knock it back a little. So we've treated that surface, this groove, and I've also done in here as well, and the corresponding hub. That should keep everything nice and true. So now it's time to get a bit of copper ease, and we need to put some on the areas we've cleaned. I'm not going to I'm going to adjust it. They all want a good smearing of copper ease, and put some in here as well, either side. I'm not forgetting the brake cylinder. So in order to ease fitting, I'll just remove or disconnect this lower spring, and then the whole assembly just literally slots through there, and then you can grab hold of either end and use like a scissor action to get it over that wheel cylinder. So firstly, connect the handbrake, and we can use some pliers just to move the spring back, just to hook it in there. Just get a twisting action, and that against the brake shoe itself, and that'll pull the spring back. So when I connected the handbrake spring, everything fell in bits, so I've reconnected it all bar the lower spring. So what I'm going to do, we're just going to move those two shoes together. Now I can do it single-handedly, and then get these shoes onto the slave cylinder, and then we can refit this lower spring, as they're not quite in position yet, but it's a good opportunity to put that lower spring in. And I think I'm going to put a clip in this side, one of the spring clips, just to steady things off a bit, and then we can focus on the bottom end. I just slotted that one in without any tools, and for this one I got a screwdriver like so, and I just levered whilst pushing that in there. These spring clips, what can happen, it's just happened to me in fairness, while you're compressing it and trying to twist, the whole thing can just shoot off and go into oblivion. So what I find better to do is to just compress that with a socket, that's that one, 9mm, and then turn the pin, push the pin through and rotate it. Well, I had planned on reusing the original kit, and then I got to this pin, which it's dangerously thin with corrosion, so I've had to purchase kit 801 from APEC. Now this kit does look the same, with the exception of a few springs. The upper springs there look less meatier than that spring there, so what I'm just going to do is hopefully reuse the pins, possibly the springs. The rest of the springs do look the same. That spring there looks equally as substantial, and the other two springs either side look to be the same deal. It's just the big ones which go across the top which I'm not going to be using. So that's a quick comparison. The springs are a bit probably less compressed, marginally bigger, and the pins are the same size, so that's a good start. So I've placed a magnet on the side of this tool which is holding the clip in, as I can fly off and go into the next county if you're not careful. So I'll push down, and what I want to do is just compress the spring and turn the pin behind and push it through, all being well. Something not quite right there. So I've had a bit of an off-camera struggle with that one. I've even got some welding grips just to push the shoe back, and I will explain why. Basically, the head of the pin is much larger than a stock pin, what you get, so that makes it a lot more difficult. So what I'd do is if you were forced to use this kit, I don't think I'll be using it again through choice, I'd just check the fit of everything before you try and put it together. So now we've got that done, we're going to centralise the brake shoes, and if you do see me hammering, I'm only hitting the steel there and there, we're not hitting the friction surfaces. So we want to make these shoes something like central before we attempt to put the brake drum back on, and these pins will give you a slight inkling as to how central you are. So take a good sturdy screwdriver, insert through this hole here and slowly back it off. It's not the easiest way as the adjuster shaped against you, so I'll back that off, and then we'll try and refit the hub. And we'll back it off some more. So we've got the drum refitted, and you can hear that there's a bit of resistance there. So what I do is just pull on the handbrake cable just to splay the shoes and even everything out, and still a bit of resistance. So I think what I'm going to do, take this drum off and just back it off ever so slightly. I also like to press the foot brake very firmly just to centralise the shoes before making any adjustments. So I've got everything adjusted up, and maybe a slight little bind on it, so we're going to have to go back a little. If we pull on the handbrake, it's solid, so we're very close to where we want to be. I think maybe just back a couple of clicks. And I always quite like to fully rebuild everything. You can put a screwdriver through and adjust the wheel, but you don't really know how you're leaving it, so fully rebuilding it's the way for me. So I know it's good. I don't mind taking it on and off several times just to ensure all's well. It should come off reasonably easy. That's a bit of a one-handed effort. But yeah, we'll just adjust that wheel there. We'll just go back a couple of clicks. So to make it tighter, that's the easier way, and the trickier way, yeah, that's about 2 clicks. We'll rebuild everything and check again. There, silence is golden, and we're better off having the brakes with no binding rather than a little one, as heat builds up in the drum and it'll end up leaving you stranded at the side of the road waiting for it all to cool down if you get it wrong. Many thanks for watching, and why not subscribe to learn of more low cost repair and servicing solutions, and do check out my playlist. I have quite a few Talbot videos